This video we are going to see about ratio of trigonometry or trigonometric ratios, and this is for Form 5 Malaysia syllabus. So let us go ahead and try to see what exactly it is there. To begin with, what is a unit circle? A unit circle has a radius of 1 unit and it is centered at the origin. So this is a unit circle having radius equal to 1 unit. The whole circle is divided into 4 quadrants: quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3 and quadrant 4. The angle is always measured anti-clockwise. So 0 to 90 degree, 0 to 180 degrees, 0 to 270 degrees and 0 back again to the initial position 360 degrees. Let us try to see what exactly is corresponding reference angle alpha, and this value is always less than 90 degrees. So value of alpha will be always less than 90 degrees. In the first quadrant, if the value of theta is there, the value of alpha and theta both will be remaining same. So if your point lies in the first quadrant, the angle alpha will be equal to theta, both value will be same. If the point lies in the second quadrant, the value of theta is measured anti-clockwise. Alpha will be equal to 180 degrees minus theta. So alpha, the angle given over here, will be equal to 180 degrees minus theta will be your reference angle. If the point lies in the third quadrant, then the value of alpha will be equal to theta minus 180 degrees. So value of alpha becomes equal to theta minus 180 degrees. If you are in the fourth quadrant, then the value of alpha will be equal to total 360 degrees minus theta, that will be the value of alpha. So the reference angle calculation is very important in most of our calculations. Now, how do we determine the values of sine, cosine and tangent of angles in the quadrant second, third and fourth? First and foremost, determine the corresponding reference angle. So determine whether the point is in the first, second or third quadrant or the fourth quadrant, and determine the corresponding reference angle alpha, and determine whether it is positive, negative sign for sine, cosine and tangent by using all silver teacups. In the first quadrant, all the ratios sine, cosine, tangent are positive. In the first quadrant, only sine is positive. In the second quadrant, the third quadrant, the value of tan is positive, and in the fourth quadrant, cosine is positive. So once again I repeat, in the first quadrant all are positive, in second quadrant sine is positive, in the third quadrant tangent is positive, and in the fourth quadrant it is the cosine is positive. Now how do we determine the angle when the value of sine, cosine and the tangents are given? For that, identify the quadrant based on the positive or negative signs on the value of trigonometric functions. Determine the corresponding reference angle, and after that calculate the angle theta based on to the quadrant identified. So now let us try to see, we are not going to give more emphasis of finding out the value of alpha, which would like you to do on your own, and if at all I get some more time, maybe I will try to take out more questions based on the value of reference angle alpha. Here we have a numerical given to you. A ship sails from position A to position B. OA and OB are equal parts and the angle subtended is equal to theta. If OA is equal to 20 meters, this also should be equal to 20 meters. We require first to find the angle theta. Then the distance in meter between ship in position B and the lighthouse. So lighthouse is at point C. This distance BC we have to find out. The value of the angle AOC, this angle AOC. So this is what basically the question, application question based on the ratio of trigonometry Form 3 syllabus, Form 5 syllabus is there. So what is given to you is that OA is equal to OB is equal to 20 meters, OA is equal to OB is equal to 20 meters, and AB is equal to 35 meters. We have to find the angle theta. How do we go about it? One way to go about it is you drop a perpendicular, this angle will become equal to theta by 2, and then you can use the trigonometric ratio. So if this angle becomes theta by 2, sine of theta by 2 is equal to opposite side. This is the opposite side upon hypotenuse. That is nothing but equal to this opposite side is 13.5 divided by 2, which is 17.5, divided by hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is 20. The value comes out to be 0.875. Hence, value of theta by 2 becomes equal to sine inverse of 0.875, which comes out to be equal to 61.04 degree. So multiply by 2, you get the value of theta, that comes out to be 122.08 degree. Therefore, this first answer theta has been found out, 122.08 degree. Next, let us try to find out what is the distance in meter between the ship B and the lighthouse. So that is BC we have to find in this particular case. To find BC, if you draw a line, this angle will be still theta by 2. Sine of theta by 2 is equal to opposite side of hypotenuse, that is of no use. Cos of theta by 2 is equal to adjacent side by hypotenuse, that you can use. Or you can use tan of theta by 2 is equal to opposite side upon adjacent side. So you can use either cos or tan. So here in this particular case, I have used tan theta by 2. Tan of theta by 2 is the angle over here when you draw a straight line. Tan theta by 2 is equal to opposite side, which is equal to OC, divided by adjacent side, which is equal to BC. So if you now try to rearrange it, you get BC is equal to OC divided by tan of theta by 2. Theta by 2 is 61.04 from the previous calculation. If you try to put it, you get the value of this BC to be equal to 17.05 divided by 1.807. You do the calculation, you get the answer BC to be equal to 9.68 meters. The distance BC comes out to be equal to 9.68 meters. The next part is to find the value of AOC, angle AOC. Theta is already known. If you find this angle, it will be good. Because theta by 2 is known to you over here. This angle will be 90 minus theta by 2 because it's a perpendicular. So 90 minus theta by 2 will be this angle. Add it up, you should be able to get the answer. So what is given in this particular part? Let us try to see further ahead. Angle AOC is equal to angle AOB plus angle BOC. And angle AOB, which you found out earlier, is 122.08 degrees. And this angle is equal to 90 minus 61.04. That gives the value to be equal to 151.04 degrees. And therefore, we can say that the angle AOC comes out to be 151.04. Therefore, they are asking us to find the value of tan of this value. So, tan of 151.04 gives us the value of negative 0.5534. That should be our answer. Now, let us go further ahead to see about the graphs of the sine function. As you can see, here you have this unit circle and the point is going in the circle and the graph of sine is being traced out over here. Okay. For one complete cycle, that is equal to 2 pi. So from 0 to 2 pi, one complete cycle is there. Once again, you can have a look at it, that as the particle goes through one complete circle, 0 to 2 pi, the sine wave starts from the origin, and at pi, the value of sine will become equal to 0. At 2 pi, again the value of sine value will come out to be equal to 0. You can see over here, at pi by 2, the sine value is maximum. At the angle equal to 3 pi by 2, that is 270 degrees, is negative maximum. Now, in the terms of cosine function, you can see that the cosine function starts from here. So when the angle theta is 0, it is maximum. So we can say that cosine function is leading the sine function by 90 degrees. It comes ahead. You can see over here this comes a complete cycle at 2 pi. You can have a look once again. It starts from here, completes the full cycle at angle equal to 2 pi. The next function is about the tan function. You can see over here the tangent function start and it goes to infinity. I like to bring a point that the time period for tan function is 0 to pi. 0 to pi. Only pi is not 2 pi. Because every pi the value will change. So time period for tan function is pi, not 2 pi. Keeping that in mind. So this is how the graph has been drawn onto the paper, and you can see add the values over here at pi by 2, at pi by 2, at 3 pi by 2, it becomes infinite. So at these values, the value will become equal to infinite. Okay, so there is an infinite function, it takes place. Now let us try to see another simple question. In this particular video, we are just trying to introduce it. Many questions has to be solved. If at all another video has been made, it will be dedicated only on solving the paper questions which have come of ratio of trigonometry in SPM exam. So this is an introduction video whereby you should know what exactly is the part of the trigonometry. In this diagram, you have the beacon lighthouse. The light is going along the shore or the coast in this case. We have to find out the function in this case. If you see this diagram, tan of x is equal to opposite side upon adjacent side. So we can get the value of tan of x is equal to nothing but xs divided by 500. Rearrange this, we get s is equal to 500 times tan of x. So that is our first answer given over here. The next particular part is state the amplitude and time period. There is no amplitude in this case because you saw the tan function. The tan function is going towards infinite. So there is no amplitude for that. There is no maximum amplitude as such. It goes from negative infinity to positive infinity. Therefore, there will be no amplitude. At the same time, the period which I said earlier is pi, that is 180 degrees. So every particular repetition is taking place after 0 to pi, that will be equal to 180 degrees. The next particular simple example given over here, the diagram on the right shows the security camera in front of the fence of an apartment. The camera is mounted on a pole 5 meters from the midpoint of the fence. Write the trigonometric function that expresses the distance s in meters along the fence from the midpoint in terms of x. So we can directly take the fact that tan of x is equal to opposite side upon adjacent side. So we can write using the trigonometric function tan of x is equal to s divided by phi, or s is equal to phi tan of x. So that is the trigonometric function. So this is what basically meant by this particular small introduction about ratio of trigonometry or trigonometric ratio, however you call it, but solving more problem based on to finding the reference angle, finding the value of sine, cosine and tan in first, second, third quadrant, and many more questions we try to do in another video, probably by taking 5 or 10 questions which have come in the SPM exam. Thank you very much.